It's your girl Ashley. I be ballin' with another episode of I be ballin' basketball show. Today I'm gonna preview the WNBA season, y'all. 2025. Let's get it. Oh, and before I start, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me your WNBA predictions. What team you're rooting for, players you're rooting for. Give me your predictions of like the WNBA awards, and yeah, let's get it. So I'm gonna start with the New York Liberty because they the champs. I gotta start with the champs, right? We are the champions, my friends. And so you know they won it for NY. So I think they have a great chance of repeating. You know because they re-signed pretty much everybody on the team, and they got Natasha Cloud, Natasha Cloud. She's a great defender, great distributor and playmaker, and she could get like 6, 7 assists per game. Like for the past 4 seasons, it's been 6 assists, and last year it was 7 assists. So I think that was a big trade. That was a big get. And she was traded like twice. First she was with the Mercury, then she was with the Sun. And then, she landed with the Liberty. And this was a big get for the Liberty because, Lainey Hamilton, she's going to be out for practically the whole year. And that's going to, she's not like a big name, but she's like a great glue player, you know, person that does the little things defend. And, a lot of the team, they're going to be playing in the Eurobasket. And so they're going to miss some time in like June. Like Marine, Johannes, and, Fibish, and, oh, Sabale too. So, they're going to be going for their, countries. So they're going to miss some time. But for real, I don't even think really seeding really matters. But I think Sabrina Ionescu should get have a big year because she didn't really play that well in the WNBA finals. Obviously, she had hit that big shot. That was about it. Like, so she gotta like when the playoffs is on, and it's time to perform with the lights brightest. She gotta put in that work. She improved last year. She scored more inside the arc. She improved on her floater. She need to shoot more threes so it can like balance out. Cause first she was like threes, 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 bombing away, and she improved her inside game, which is good. But she also needs to like balance it out where it's like balanced attack. Not just shoot threes and not just go inside. But Stewie, she had like a knee scope. So, she's coming back slowly, she's in training camp. So I feel like it's not really a big rush for them. As long as they're healthy, you know, in the playoffs, doesn't matter the seeding, you know, it doesn't matter. But, what I like about the Liberty is their depth. That's why they won. Sabale came off the bench and was balling. And people wasn't really even seeing her during the season, you know. But I really like Johannes and uh Leani Fibish. I really like them because when they're on the court, you know the Liberty be outscoring a lot of opponents because they offer that elite 3-point shooting and versatility. You know, Johannes, I feel like she's like a highlight player. Like you be looking at the handles, like sort of like N1 or like Kyrie Irving. You know what I mean? So I really like them. So I see them getting to the finals, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't see them repeating. Only because the finals kind of worried me. Kind of worried me. I really like Jones JJ. Shout out to the Bombers. I really liked her. She was stepping up, but I was a little worried with Dewey sometimes, and Sabrina sometimes. So I think that they'll perform better when they get to the finals, only because now they got the monkey off their back. You know, you can't bring all those MVPs and number one picks and not win a chip. So the pressure is off. So hopefully, they perform better. But I do have them in the finals. It's just it's hard to repeat, man. It's hard to repeat. But I'm gonna say they repeat because I think Natasha Cloud, and she's won a chip too, with the Mystics. I feel like that's gonna help. But there's gonna be a lot of teams standing in their way, like the Mercury. I'm so excited for the Mercury, man. Obviously, I'm sad that, Tarasi, retired, right? And Brittany Griner, leaving was a shock. 11 years, whole career. I was shocked. But this trio that they got, yeah, the signing trades with Sabale, Tatu Sabale, the unicorn. And then you got Alyssa Thomas, I feel like she should have got an MVP by now. And Copper, you can't stop her. That's what I say. I'm really excited to see them. And, there's a lot of new coaches in the W this year. That- it's a lot of new, lot of new head coaches. But so this Mercury team, their defense is gonna be their offense, right? I feel like they're gonna have a solid offense. The problem is they don't have a lot of depth, but I think their competitiveness and uh, their will. Because if you notice, like Alyssa Thomas, plus Copper, they got that dog in them, yo. Like I think that competitiveness, right, and their experience is gonna help. Um, they're not gonna be posting up like when they had Griner. They was posting up a lot. They gonna play small ball a lot. They gonna run and uh, fast breaks, transition, up tempo style. So I'm excited to watch them play. I don't see them winning the championship because I just feel like they don't have the depth. But sometimes it's all about just getting that experience together. This trio, ooh, if they could stay healthy, yo, um, they have a player named Natasha Mack. She's 6'3". Um, but AT, I feel like she's so underrated, and it's like, how can an MVP candidate be underrated? And I feel like she's gonna have another MVP season. And Copper, she just like I already knew she was a great player. I've been following her since the sky, right? But she just exploded last year, making so many clutch shots. And as far as Sable, I feel like they call her the unicorn because she can do a lot of things that players her size can't do. But for her, it's just about can she stay healthy? To be honest. But I really like this team because I feel like they're gonna play a lot of positionless basketball. And obviously they lost a lot of players, you know, that would have really helped, like Natasha Cloud and Sophia Cunningham. But that's why, I like that they have Kalani Brown. I like that they have, Sammy Whitcomb. And so I feel like, they just gonna have to bring everybody along with them. And last year, I don't even know if I should really talk about last year. They lost in the first round, but um, this team is a whole complete new identity. But that's what I like about it. They could have just said we're gonna rebuild. Griner left, DT left, but they're like, no, we going right back at it. So I really like that. Let's talk about the Storm. I think the Storm they'll be similar to like the Mercury. Like they trying to. I feel like they like for the Mercury. I feel like they can't get past the first round, and sometimes it's about matchups. But like the Storm, man, I'm excited about the Storm. I'm really excited because this team is going to be all defense, all defense. Because last year they were like fourth in defense, right? But I think this year they'll be even better. Like they'll be even better defensively because obviously with the whole Joel Lloyd situation, I was like, man, like what happened? And then there was like investigation with bullying, and then they was like, no, we didn't find anything. And she was like, I want to get traded, right? So she's with the Aces now, right? But you know, Aneka Gwumake, she stayed and resigned, right? Skylar Diggins is still there. Gabby Williams was a cord, and I'm like, and then they got Clark. Yo, they got Clark. Clark, she won, championship with the Storm before, back when they had like Sue Bird. And so she's back there. And they got Erica Wheeler. Uh, and I think she's gonna be a good, playmaker coming off the bench. So I'm bad at pronouncing names. So this is the name. She's like 6'7". Lee Yuru. I'm bad at pronouncing names, y'all. But she like 6'7", and I was like, what? She's 6'7"? 6'7"? And that's not even talking. I didn't even get to like why I feel like this. I feel like offensively, that's where I want to see them at. I would need to see how this team performs offensively. But Skylar Diggins, she was in Unrivaled, and she was balling. She was balling. So I think put the ball in her hands a lot. And Mecca Gumake, I feel like number one pick, all team defense like 7 times. I feel like she's underrated. She don't get enough props, and of course she's the president of the players union. I don't think she get enough props. I really don't. You know, I feel like she might be the most underrated number one draft pick I've ever seen. She doesn't get enough love. I mean, she could play both ends, and there's nothing offensively she can't do. She can hit threes, mid range, in the post. But she's very smart, high basketball IQ, good leader. But uh, easy, yo, she's great at rim protection. Great at rim protection. Um, but they had the second pick in the draft, right? They got Dominique Malonga. I hope I pronounced that right. She's 6'6", and I was looking at you know the tape of her, and I was like, man, she's 6'6" and can move like that. Like, obviously, people are looking at the dunking, and people are like, I hope I don't get posterized. That's what people are saying. I hope I don't get posterized. But I'm like, yo, that's why I feel like, man, they have so many players that could play defense. Like Clark, obviously, she's like a great 3 and D player. She can guard, on the perimeter and guard post ups. Like y'all remember when she it was like it's not last year's finals, but the year before that, she was guarding Stewie, and and she made Stewie miss the game winner, right? And I just feel like, man, she's solid, reliable, and easy. She was ranked like third in blocks. Let me see. Yeah, 2.2 blocks, and uh, Aneka averaged like two steals. So defensively, the offensive teams, I would not want to play against them. And now you got a second round draft pick in Dominique, right? And I was like, yo, she can guard on the perimeter, and she's 6'6", right? So man, she gonna be blocking shots and like, a lot of guards be like, and bigs get on them. They like play around. I could score on you. I could get past you. I don't think you can do that with Dominique, man. And she got like a lot of great leaders to look up to. Easy, Nuka, Diggins, Clark, Gabby Williams. I forgot to mention Gabby Williams. I mean, she can really ball out. She's gonna miss some time too with the Eurobasket, playing for France. But Dominique said she's not gonna play for her country. And so that's gonna be, it really depends. But I think she probably missing it because this is her rookie year. If it was like her sophomore year, I think she probably would play, But Gabby Williams, she's top notch defender, man. And even Diggins be getting after it. She doesn't have size, but she's competitive, relentless. She was averaging like a steal, and Gabby Williams too, like 1.7. So it's like, man, and unfortunately, I heard like Katie Samuelson got an ACL injury, so that's gonna hurt. Um, yeah, so that's gonna hurt. But oh, they also have a player that has good shooting touch in Mackenzie Holmes. But yeah, but that's the only thing that I wonder about the Storm. Like, how, defensively, they're gonna make it, but it's like, okay, how are they gonna be offensively? Because I know Neka can score, um, Dickens can score, um, but everyone else is more like defenders first. So we gonna see what happens. But so I want to talk about the Fever. The Fever really, man, they lost in the first round, 2020 record, and of course, Caitlin Clark. She just balled out her rookie year. Um, she was breaking records left and right, too many to name. You know, rookie records and it's one thing to break rookie records, right? But she was breaking like you know regular records, that everybody qualifies for. So it was like, yo, like what she gonna do this time? And she got a better team coming around, right? So it's like because you're averaging 12 assists, I knew she could lead the league in assists, but I could see her, you know, her points and assists gonna go up, but it's like just about how much, and 20-point plus score, obviously, and but I predict 12 assists. That's just all I'm gonna say. 12 assists because you can tell, like defensively, they're like, yo, we need to get better. We need to get better because let me see. I think they were ranked 11th. Let me see. Yeah, 11. They was ranked 11, and they mostly just outscored teams, right? But I'm looking forward to seeing, how Clark and Boston continue their chemistry together. and individually, of course. In Boston, she's a great offensive rebounder. I think she's like, you know, 10.7% offensive rebounding. And of course, she can score she's very efficient. You know, it's just in the beginning of the season, people was like tearing Boston apart, pretty much tearing every Fever player apart. You know, um, and I think that just comes with the territory of playing with Clark. All eyes are on you and stuff. But I liked how she handled it. You just gotta, you know, quiet the noise. But it's like, yeah. But she was top five in shooting percentage, like 3%. But also having Kelsey Mitchell back is big because she could have just left. But I like that she came back. And the big news is they got Stephanie White, right? And they like, yo, yes, that other coach, she got you guys to the playoffs, right? But they like, we're not playing games. Like Clark is ready now. It'd be different if Clark was struggling, but no, she's balling. So you got to get reinforcements. And they got so many reinforcements. First they was getting like Natasha Howard. She's a great player. Like she's a champion, right? She won with the Storm. She won a Defensive Player of the Year in like 2019. She averaged for the past 4 years. She's been averaging 16 points. So she's like one of those players that you don't really get talked about. Not a star, but like you need someone like her to help your defense. And they got Sophie Cunningham, who she got that dog in her, and she they surround her Clark with great players, great shooters. And Dewana Bonner was the biggest get, biggest. When because I was wondering like what is AT and Dewana Bonner gonna do? And they went on different teams, but I was like, what? They really going for it, right? And of course, it helps that White coached her before. And Bonner, she's great. She's like top four in like points in WNBA history. And I think she's like top 10, top eight in rebounding in WNBA history. She's another one of those players that don't get talked about. She's underrated. He kind of reminds me of Kevin Durant because they both skinny and tall and long. But that's what you need. You need players like Howard and Bonner, vets that's been there and done that and won championships. Bonner won with Mercury, and it's like you need players that are long and so they're gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like six top six, defensively. I think that they can get that much better. They got Brianna Turner. They just and Lexi. They're just gonna be that much stronger. Because if you can, oh Jalen Brown, because if you can, Sydney Colson, is gonna be the backup point guard. So they was going for it. They was like, yo, let's get this. And of course, like Colson brings the energy, brings defense, she's like the team player. So man, it's gonna be big, yo. Like and obviously they have high expectations, right? They have high expectations, but it's like that's what happens. I don't see them winning the championship the very first year, but I can see them going very, very far past the first round for sure. Um, because now you're more balanced. Um, and I expect like a lot of them to be all stars. Dewana Bonner, um, Boston, and Clark, Kelsey Mitchell. She could really score. So it's really going to be about how they can gel and how fast they can gel. Um, because all you really need is to get it rocking at the right moment, playoffs. Because if you guys notice in the NBA, the playoffs are happening right now, and if you notice, you know, it doesn't really matter what seed you are. What matters is matchups, and what matters is, are you clicking at the right time? The Cavs just got bounced by the Pacers. Pacers were struggling earlier in the season. So it's like anybody could get got. If you know, anybody could get got, y'all. But um, some interesting things about White is she got the fever to the finals before, um, in 2015, and even when she was with Connecticut Sun, they went to the semifinals twice in a row. So it's like I could see them going to the finals in the first year, or even maybe even semifinals. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. And health matters in every situation. Let's talk about Atlantic Dream. I have a dream. Yeah. Brittany Griner leaving. I thought she was going to retire in Phoenix, but I could see why she needed a change of scenery, especially what happened, with Russia. And change of scenery is good. They got Brianna Jones. Man, the Sun lost everybody. The Connecticut Sun lost everybody. Brianna Jones, she's like that old school type of big. I like her. Of course, Griner, shot blocker, dunker, skyhook, can make mid range 3 pointers. So speaking of 3 pointers, their new coach, right? His name is Carl uh Samoka. I hope I pronounced that right. And so he was coaching Florida Gulf Coast for 20 years. And his philosophy is like 5 out, shoot threes, 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 and layups. And not necessarily mid range jumpers. And Griner has made a lot of threes last year. She was like 9 out of 18. But my question is, do they have the personnel for this? Because I wonder like how Griner and Jones are gonna play. And I wonder, do they have enough shooters for his identity? You know? Um, and it's like the fact that you have an identity, as a first year coach is very good. Um, they lost in the first round too. But what I really like about their team is Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray. I love those two, man. But the interesting thing is Ryan Howard, she can shoot mid range. So it's going to be interesting because I feel like there needs to be a balance. If there's a certain player on your team that's just dangerous in the mid range area, you still have to let them play their game. Like, yeah, you want everybody to shoot more threes, and that's going to happen. Oh, they're averaging like 18 more threes than they did last season. And so in the preseason, they're averaging like 38 three attempts. And so their philosophy is working. They're getting it. They lighting it up, letting it fly. Um, but I remember, as a Bucks fan, when Bud was the coach, Chris Middleton loved the mid range, and he was always talking about threes, threes, threes. But they had a talk, so Chris Middleton still got to do his little mid-range jump shots in post, high post area. So, I don't think it, I think it's not going to be a lot of mid-range jumpers, but I feel like Howard and Gray, they still can hit the mid-range shots. And Griner, too, of course. And Brianna Jones, too. They're mid-range jump shooters, but so it's going to be interesting because but I do like that they have a lot of size because oh, they gave up the most points in the paint. I think that's why they got Jones and Griner because they gave up so many points in the paint, like 34 points. So it's like, yeah, that's not gonna happen anymore. Um, I do like Air Canada, Jordan Canada. I do like her. I liked her a lot since the Storm days, right? Her Storm days. You know, her jump shot is not best, but she's a defensive, disruptor. I really like her game. And she led the team in net rating. I think she's gonna score more offensively. Unrivaled really helped her. I think this team it's gonna always be about shooting and spacing and depth. I think that's gonna be the main keys for them. Um, but everybody can't get past this first round. Like everybody can't get past the first round, but they are gonna improve because listen, they were the lowest scoring, worst shooting, least efficient team in the W last year. So that's not gonna happen again. Uh, they do have a good creator in her name is Walker Kimbrough, I believe. Oh, and they have so I like their team. Go to the Aces. They lost in the semifinals. Obviously, it was a big trade with Kelsey Plum and Jewel Lloyd, and Plum was really good, even defensively for the team, and she was averaging like 17 points for them, and shooting like like 36% last year. So Jewel Lloyd, she's gonna fit in because she could score very well. But the big difference is I think Plum is a better defender. Um, and she was really good in Hammond's, slice and dice offense. But I mean, it's like, come on, like Asia Wilson, she's gonna be dominant. Kelsey Gray's gonna be dropping dimes. you know, so it's always gonna be about how much help is Asia Wilson going to get, and like obviously they got coming off the bench Donna Evans, you know. Oh, they lost a lot of players. And of course, a lot of Aces fans are really getting mad because they waived Deja Kelly, but I think it was more so her size. But I see Lloyd averaging like close to 20. Jackie Young, I feel like has so much untapped potential. It's crazy. I really like her, but sometimes I feel like she's not aggressive enough for me. Defensively, she got it locked down. She's strong. She's like a quiet assassin, but I feel like she got to bring it more. But that's just me. That's just me. But they have Parker Titus, and that's gonna be I think that's going to be a good big for, playing. With Asia. Um, but we're going to see what Hammond does. We're going to see their team because it's like, okay, you didn't three-peat. So now what you going to do? You didn't make it to the finals. So now what you going to do? When you lost a lot of players, Clark, Colson, right? Even Tiffany Hayes, they got another player, Tiffany Mitchell, but it's like those players, you know, were very important for the Aces. And it's all about, who's gonna, because we already know their starting five is fire. We know that. But it's like, okay, the others, the other role players, like, what's gonna happen? But yeah, I think they're gonna have chemistry already because they won gold with each other. She's like a volume scorer. Um, she led the league in scoring one year with the Storm, but she has a lot of craftiness. But I feel like it's all about who's gonna help Asia because we already know she's gonna have a dominant, MVP season. Her shoe just came out. The shoe color that's black and pink. Oh my goodness, I think I need that because obviously there's all pink and there's actually one that's all blue too, and that's fire too. But oh, and the commercial directed by Obama's daughter, fire. It reminded me of being a child playing outside. Asia got it. A1, let go. But I can definitely see them winning the championship. I could see them going back to the finals. But it's all about who's going to help Asia. Another team that I'm excited to see is the Sparks, right? And I'll tell you why. Rikia Jackson, RJ. I feel like out of all the players out of last year's draft, the 2024 draft, I feel like she was like very underrated. A lot of people were talking about Clark and Reese, of course, and Brink before she got hurt. But I feel like Kid Jackson, and she's gonna start this year, and I don't know what happened last year. She wasn't playing as much as I thought she should have, but she has every skill in the book. She's so smooth, fluid, so sound. Like she's gonna be one of the best two-way players in the league, man. And it's just a matter of when, because a lot of rookies don't got her skill that she had last year, and now she got a season under her belt, and she was in that rival. I just have so much hope for Rakia Jackson, man. Oh my goodness, she's so good in the mid range. Oh my goodness, just incredible. I'm excited that Brink is coming back in June. After her knee injury. And Kelsey Plum, I think it's going to be great for them because that's another veteran that has championship experience. She's reunited with Hamby, and Hamby she played every game. She had an all-star year, getting double doubles left and right. And when they have chemistry together with the Olympics, with 3-on-3. And Plum is like a career for her career is like 40% from three. So we're gonna see how Plum plays without the aces in Asia. She's gonna have more responsibility. Uh, she's gonna be she's gonna have more on her shoulders basically, and so how can she handle that? Um, but I think she's gonna do well because she worked on her game so much. You know, because when she went number one in the early years, she struggled. So I don't think this transition is going to be too tough for her because I feel like her tough days in the W is over. She's older and um. But yeah, I think it's kind of hard to judge the Sparks to be honest. I want them to make the playoffs. Obviously, I really like Plum. Her ball handling, her scoring. And I'm glad that they went for a guard because I kind of wanted the Sparks to win Paige Becker sweepstakes, but that didn't happen. But I think it's gonna be hard to say if they're gonna make the playoffs. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really sure. I need to see how Brink plays. I need to see how Plum fits in with everyone before I could say, because last year they were 8-32. It's like we're gonna see. Oh, Ray Burrell, she was in Unravel too, and I think that's gonna help her. Who else they have? Mercedes Russell, Swain, but it's gonna be hard to say. New coach Roberts, it's hard to say. But let's go to the Wings. They did win the Page sweepstakes, right? They did win. And it's going to be hard to say. Obviously, defensively, they needed to get better defensively. And they said, let's get Dejanay Carrington, seatbelt season. Let's get it. Let's get it. Paige Beckers, like number one pick. I really like her, man. Craftiness, mid range. She's a team player, great playmaker, could pass, could score. And it doesn't even matter like if she has a slow game, she's gonna bring it, rebound. She won finally with UConn, so that's awesome. I just want her to stay healthy, 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 healthy. And I'm glad Enrique 414, yo. She's a scoring machine. So that backcourt is going to be so difficult to guard, man. Good luck to you guys. They got Nyla Smith. That's going to be interesting to see what she does with the change of scenery. I kind of wish Sabale didn't leave, but I do like the whole Mercury situation. But for the Wings, I feel like just making the playoffs this season would be the main goal. Get that chemistry going. I do like McConaughey hand, because she's like super big and strong. But defensively, it's gonna be where it's at. How better are they gonna be defensively? Obviously, they got a lockdown defender in Carrington, and it's like, okay, how much better are you gonna be defensively? And like I said, so many new coaches. So listen, they were last in defensive rating. That's terrible. That's really terrible. But I really do like the Wings. I really want them to succeed. Oh, and I think they got some of the best jerseys. You know, uh, they got Ty Harris, Hines Allen. Oh man, Hines Allen. I really like her. She's another big, strong post player. So you could tell where they're going with this. Herbert Harrington. Um, but man, I really do think defensively is going to be where it's at, and I think even if they don't make the playoffs, hey, just getting Paige Beckers acclimated to the league, and her getting that chemistry to Rique, that's going to be the main goal. But you could see her propelling them to the playoffs, not winning a series or anything, but I guess they're doing what Clark did. Once you like show your potential, that's how the front office moves. Clark went, so they're like, let's go get some more reinforcements, and I think this season's going to be big. How is Paige going to handle it? And if she explodes, expect big moves from the front office. You feel me? GM Kurt Miller and new coach Chris Co-Clans. Wow, that's pretty dope. But yeah, um, I do want to see how Enrique plays with because she could score, right? Because some players they could score, but they need help. They need someone to pass it to them. Enrique don't need any help, but now you have someone to help you get those shots. So she averaged 22 points a game last year. Maybe she could average 25. Now that Paige is gonna get a lot out of attention too. So I wanna see what it do, what it do. You heard me. But nah, let's go with the Lynx because the Lynx, man, I thought the Lynx was gonna win, no doubt. Um their team pretty much stayed the same. They re-signed Natasha Heidemann, Reeves, great coach. And of course, defensive player of the year, right? You know, Nafisa Collier, she's going to be in the MVP combos and, you know, deadly mid range. It's like Dirk Nowitzki out there. Um, they got Grace Beggar off of waivers. Um, and they're just so hard to guard because you need to double team Collier because if she gets to her spot, it's butter. It's swish. Butter swish, right? I do want to see how the young players play, like Dorka and uh, Diamond Miller and Alisa Philly. I want to see how those young players play to see if they could get playing time. And of course, Courtney Williams. I got a deep Birkin bag for you, and she can heat up at any moment. And they're pretty much trusting their experience and their chemistry together. They're running it back. They're like, hey, we were a few calls away, a few fouls away, a few buckets away. The problem is their depth didn't come through as much as the Liberty's depth did. So that's the main thing. Um, so I, but I think with Collier, if you double team her, she could pass to an open shooter, and it's butter, 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 butter. They added someone named Badian. No, Marine Badian. Is that how you pronounce it? It's like, man, I need help pronouncing these names. But that just means the international game is getting better. And, but as far as the Lynx, I think they can get back to the finals and win. They're that good. They're that good. And of course, health matters. Health matters in like every situation. Every situation, it matters. And so running the back was very good. Carlton, they did lose Allen. They did lose Allen. Kayla McBride, I mean, did you guys see her in Unrivaled? She lit it up. Lit it up. But let's go with the Mystics, right? So the Mystics, of course, Elena Deladon left, and she left, she left, she left. She retired after 10 seasons. Injuries sucked big time. They added Walker Kimbrough. They missed the playoffs. They're not gonna make the playoffs. Like this is just rebuilding here, pretty much. Brittany Sykes and Stephanie Dawson, they're gonna be that. That's to help the young players. Sharika Austin, I really like her game. And Aaliyah Edwards, I think those two, even Kiki, what's it? A Firefin that they drafted. Oh, and they drafted the Cytron, the shooter, Sonya Cytron. It's gonna be all about the youth. Unfortunately, one of their top picks, Georgia Amore, she tore ACL, and I was looking forward to seeing her play. She played for Kentucky Wildcats, but and they have a new coach, Sydney Johnson. So this is all about rebuilding and the young players and how they gel with each other. They have someone named Jade Melbourne, who's like a good playmaker, fast. I mean, pass first PG. Cyctron, like I said, is that shooter. Kiki, I like Kiki from USC. Um, she's like a diverse player. I like her in the post, and I think her game is going to be interesting, especially with Austin Edwards. I think defensively they got that potential to be like two-way players, big time players. And Leah Edwards, she showed out in Unrivaled, showed out. And Austin was there too, and I don't think they were on the same team though. I can't remember, but they have quick feet, long arms, athletic. I think, man, if they're on the court together all at once, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy, and so they're gonna be easy to find. Um, but it's all about rebuilding. You know, and seeing who's gonna be those franchise cornerstones and who's gonna be that main franchise player. And I like Sykes, pretty Sykes, because she's athletic, but she gets after it defensively. And you do need those, vets. Dawson won a chip before, I think they're just gonna run, run, run. Last year they were sixth in pace, ninth offensive rating. But this year the coach has like a 8 second 8 second violation. Not 8 second violation, but he's sort of like what the Phoenix Suns did, like 8 seconds or less. So they're gonna let it fly and use their speed and run. Um, yeah, I just see them being, uh, I see them being, a little better, but not that much better. And it's just like, But anyway, let's talk about Angel Reese, Chicago Sky. I'm really excited to see how much Angel Reese has improved. You could see when she was with Unrivaled, just um just being with Lisa Leslie in workouts, you could see her layups improving. She's working on her mid-range game, obviously, and because they're both bigs with, and when you have two bigs, you want them to, have at least a little jumper that's reliable, you know, the mid-range and, of course the threes, and it's just going to get better with the more reps you do, the more reps you have, the better it is, what I mean? And so I'm gonna be honest. I don't see them making the playoffs. I know that got uh Ariel Atkins. I really like that because you need veterans to guide you, and I feel like she's a great player. She won a chip. She's one of those underrated players. It's like she doesn't really get that much love. Like let's be honest, she doesn't get as much love as you know you would like. But I don't see it. Oh, they got Ace's assistant, Tyler Marsh. They got AVL, Haley Van Liff. Some people don't like it, but I like the reunion. I like the LSU reunion, guys. I like it. Um, and I see this as a development year, honestly. For Reese, for AVL, I would start her. And I like that Sloop came back home, you know. Spent most of your career here, won a chip here. And AVL, she could learn a lot from Sloop. You heard? I like that they got Kia Nurse. Think that's a good vet for them to have. I think getting Rebecca Allen is a good start. But it's all about the young players, Cardoza. I think Cardozo's gonna have a big year. She's gonna be like in the most improved. I would actually give her the award. You know, and it kind of depends because some people don't like sophomores winning most improved, but I think she's gonna have a most improved type of year. So I got her winning. I feel like she should get double doubles. You know, she's bigger, taller than everyone, 6'7". So lob it up to her as many times. She should get a lot of offensive rebounds. She's like a walking double double. It's just a matter of how many points, how many rebounds to me. And she was injured last year, you know, so she got off to, uh, you never want to be injured as a rookie. Like, that sucks. But I think that's the thing. Twin Towers. You got the Twin Towers. Now you got to see what they can do, you know, and see who you can surround them with. This is a rebuilding year. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs or anything like that. They had like a 97 offensive rating, um, which was like 11th out of 12 teams. So that's not good. So, when they would win, they would average like 87 points, and then in losses 73. So, um, they have Mariah Jefferson, Rachel Banham, but I believe. But I do like Tyler Marsh because they say that he's really helped Asia and Jackie Young, you know, helping Jackie Young with her shooting. You know, she can shoot well and inside out. And, a lot of people say that, Marsh is the one that helped her with her form. So, she's an elite shooter. So it's like, let's see what Cardozo and Reese can do with them. Let's see what they can do. Um, you know, Cardoza, improving on screens, maneuvering and reading them it's pretty big. But yeah, I don't see them making the playoffs. This is just another development year, to be honest. As far as the Sun rebuilding as well, there's news that they're looking to sell the team and relocate as well. So I just learned that like today. So it's like you lost your whole starting five. That's just insane. It's never happened before. I like that they got a familiar face in Tina Charles back where it all started. Um, but yeah, this is a rebuilding year, y'all. And I think Tina Charles is gonna retire, where she all, I don't know if it's this season, but retire where she all left it. But yeah, it's crazy how the Sun was contending for like so many years, and then all of a sudden, boom, like this happened. So it was like crazy. But I think Sheldon, uh, JC Sheldon, she's another most improved candidate. We could see how well she plays, because she didn't really uh, play a ton, and so I think this is gonna really help her. And yo, the whole drama with Mabry, because she asked for a trade for Chicago, went to the Suns, they was in the playoffs, and now boom, exploded. So it's like crazy, and now she want to get traded, but they traded so much for you. It's like I think they will eventually trade her, but only when it's right for them, the right trade for them. And yeah, I feel like maybe she should just ball out because even if you don't like the team, you still gotta love the game and respect the game. So I think she's gonna, just you know, it's a tough situation for sure. It's a real toughy. They got Diamond the Shields. I don't know if I pronounced this right. Nicololina. I hope I pronounced that right, but I think this is just a rebuilding year, guys. Unfortunately, like you don't want to, you want to see them competitive. I feel bad for the Suns fans, like I really do, because it's gonna be hard to like go from winning like so many seasons and being competitive to like crap. Now what? You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be like crap. Now what? And obviously, I think the Suns, they lost so many players. It's not even funny. So many all-star type players, six woman of the year type players. It's crazy. But it's all about the future. I do like LSU, Morrow, uh Anissa, Anessa, I believe. She's like a double double machine, and I feel like she kind of reminds me of Brianna Jones. So it's like you got a big replacement right there, and I think she brings energy, she brings that effort, and I think she's gonna be a good post player. Um, I think she's gonna be better because I feel like she really loves the game. I feel like rebounders, you love the game to do all the dirty work, to rebound like Dennis Rodman, you gotta really love the game. And oh, they got the NC State guard. I hope I pronounced this right. Sanaya, Sanaya, Sanaya Rivers. Um, she can be a nice two-way guard. She definitely has that potential. I like her. I feel like she has that dog mentality. So we gonna see. We gonna see. I feel like she has that mindset, and you do need that mindset to you need it. I think their front court's pretty crowded. They have a rookie named I hope I pronounced this right. The Bai. She's like a center that averaged like close to a double double overseas. And I think she might miss some time though. I'm not sure if she's gonna be in the Eurobasket. But they got Nelson Udada. I hope I pronounced that right. Um, I'm not good at names. Gonna keep it a buck. They got Yvonne Anderson. She's a vet from Europe. But yeah, I think Sheldon is gonna be the main one to look out for. So I think she's gonna have the ball in her hands. She's gonna get more playing time. I don't think she has the best shot, the best form, but who knows? But I think, it's just gonna be seeing, how they can rebuild. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be real, real tough. Real, real tough. So let's go to the Valkyries, y'all. The Valkyries, the Valkyries. I'm not gonna lie, the Valkyries, their like logo is pretty dope, and like colors is pretty dope. It's pretty dope. Now Toronto Tempo, y'all need to do better with the Pacers logo. Like y'all just copied. Like that's what y'all did. Whatever, y'all. Listen, that's what y'all did. That's what y'all did. Yeah, y'all did that. But nah, um, the Valkyries, yo, expansion. Expansion teams, they don't really be doing much. But the main thing is just, you know, figuring out, who's gonna be the players you build around. Franchise cornerstones, role players. Um, Getting the fans excited is going to be the key for them, selling tickets and getting that merch, getting that word out. I think that's going to be the main thing. Um, if I was them, I would even pick up, a lot of the players that's getting cut. I might pick up, Deja Kelly, Gotta find those diamonds in the rough, untapped potential. That's what y'all gotta do. You know what I mean? That's what y'all gotta do. Um, so they have a lot of international players, and I'm sorry if I butchered it, but they have a lot of international players. I do like that they got Thornton from, the Liberty, the championship player, role player that every team needs. You know, they got a lot of. Oh, they had the expansion draft. Check out that video. I did a video about the expansion draft. They got the Fever Center that a lot of people were mad about. That they didn't protect. Time Fagbile. I hope I pronounced that right. So a lot of the international players they have are gonna miss some time with the Eurobasket, right? Um, they have one of the best one ball defenders. Her name is Janelle. Let me see, Saloon. I hope I pronounced that right, but she's a shooter and one of the best defenders in Europe. And they have Elisa Kunan, right? She's a complete player, rebounding, shooting. They have a rookie, Chloe Bibby. She averaged like 17 points in Spain. And they have, let me see if I can pronounce this. Just Josite. She's a scorer. And I hope I pronounced this right. Leah Laken. I heard she has a lot of potential. Um, Running that point guard position. And of course, everyone knows Kate Martin, from, from Iowa, she's that shooter. And now she's got to prove she could do other things and improve on those and upgrade those skills. And of course, she was with Aces. So it's all about, rebuilding. I mean, not rebuilding, but building, that culture, that identity. That's what it's all about for them. Um, I forgot to talk about Pow Pow. I really like her. I hope she can get some playing time for the Dream. And they have Nas Hillman, who should improve because she was like a first option overseas. Um, there's a lot of great rookies in this class. I did a video on the WNBA draft, so check that out. If you want to learn more about the rookies, if you want to learn more about the Valkyries, I did an expansion draft video, so check that out. But also Coach of the Year, I gotta go with Stephanie White because I feel like they're just gonna explode and be big time. Um, 2020, that was the record, and so that I think Stephanie White's gonna win, but I wouldn't put it past Hammond from the Aces to win. I wouldn't put it past them. And pretty much any team that improves greatly has that chance, right? Um, Most improved, you know, I want to give it to Cardozo or Sheldon. Um, Defensive Player of the Year, we already know, like, going to be Collier, it's going to be Carrington, it's going to be, Ajawilson, it's going to be, you know, a lot of those type of players. And I wouldn't be surprised if Dwana Bonner or Howard get involved if they really improve Fever, defense. Rookie of the year, obviously it's going to be Page, but of course there's other great, rookies. But as long as Paige is healthy, like she's gonna win Rookie of the Year, no doubt. An MVP, Collier, Asia, eh, you know, and also go ahead and put it past, one of the Mercury players. Maybe they can be in the combo like AT. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if Caitlin Clark is in the conversation of MVP because she's gonna improve them even more than last year, right? So it's a lot. But if I had to go with a winner, I probably would pick Clark because I feel like you kind of know what Collier and Asia is gonna do, and they've already had big seasons. They've won MVPs, but when you have a record like 2020 and you can improve that, that helps you win Coach of the Year and MVP, right? Um, Six Woman of the Year. It's gonna be interesting who wins. Um, Tiffany Hayes won last year, but she ain't gonna win this year. Why? Because she with the Valkyries, y'all, and she gonna ball out. Wouldn't be surprised if she averaged 20 points. Cause she gonna be they starting guard. So like she could get buckets. She went from retired to almost winning a ring to now she a starter now. See how things turn. But as far as six woman, it's got to be from a winning team. You could see Seattle with Clark. I could see Dream if Brianna Jones doesn't start with Griner. Um, who else I could see? It's kind of hard. It's really kind of hard to pick. Like, um, it has to be with a good team. It can't just be like you scoring. You have 30 points and you're scoring a lot of points, but your team not winning. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, is it, so one more thing that I want to say. I think WNBA is only going to increase merch views. They got CBA coming up. Contracts going to improve. Um, Everything's just going to go up, up, up. Attendance, ticket sales. Everything's just going to go up because there's a lot of excitement, a lot of MVP type players, rookies. You know, young players balling out. And it's like the league is in good hands. You know, the future's bright, but even the present ballers that are playing today, big time. Oh, I forgot to say that the Sky resigned Michaela Unwinware. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm not really good at pronouncing names, y'all. My friend Kyle is, but I'm not. But if you stuck with me this long, I thank you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, and just keep, you know, keep helping me, by liking, commenting, telling a friend, sharing. But make sure you guys comment on, how you guys think the season's gonna turn out. And also remember to stay ballin'. Yeah. Peace, y'all.